I wish a good day to all participants of workshop, and during this video, together with my colleagues, I will explain you a bit more about Lviv itself, a bit about sustainable urban mobility plan, and also about how people move around the city and how they feel during this and what experience they have during this.
Lviv is the largest city in western Ukraine, with a population of 750,000 people. It is a city that combines city planning and architecture traditions from the Middle Ages to the modernist period in the 20th century. The city is growing and there are many developments in Lviv. As a large metropolis, it has multiple mobility challenges. Every day more than 150,000 people visit Lviv for work, for study and for other reasons. So needs for all, and in particular comfortable and efficient transport for residents and visitors should be faced in the city today.
As you see from the model split of Lviv, more than 50% of citizens use public transport, 23 use private cars, 18 walk, and only 5 to 7% prefer cycling. Another important issue to be considered for planning is the municipal budget. Only 365 million euro per year. This is a total annual budget, and approximately 10% of these costs cities spending on mobility, both in form of capital investments and maintenance. Compared to other cities, our capacities are quite low.
Still, mobility is a priority in the city development, and in order to meet the needs of current population and take into account consideration of future residents and a lot of tourists and guests, Sustainable Urban Mobility Plan was approved by the City Council in 2020. Sustainable Urban Mobility Plan is a strategic document that defines a city's transport approach for next years. I mean a creation of safe, environmentally friendly, comfortable and fast urban mobility for everyone. The plan addresses for transportation issues more broadly. It includes not only movement of transport but also movement of people. And aims on creation the most effective movement of people in the city. Also some with umbrella strategies that would be detailed by another documents about movement of people and goods within the city.
Main challenges of the city, according to some, are traffic safety, decrease of the attractiveness of urban space for walking, insufficient public transport quality, increase in the vehicle-to-population ratio, resulting in congestion, traffic accidents, and emissions. Bicycle to be viewed as a mode of transport and not only as a mean for active outdoor activities. Transportation infrastructure not provided in development areas, and low institutional capacity of the municipality.
To deal with the mentioned challenges, the following priorities were identified. Pedestrians are the most prioritized mobility group, so the accessible and walkable infrastructure needs to be provided. Public transport as the most efficient transport in Lviv has a second priority. Electric transport facilities, trams, trolleybuses will be developed. Cycling infrastructure is more prioritized than private cars, thus more efforts will be provided for cycling infrastructure development. An important role for urban development plays delivery and cargo transportation, so it will be taken into consideration during the reconstructions of streets and city space in general. The least prioritized will be car parking facilities. Driven mainly by investors' efforts, new underground parking facilities will be developed and existing on-street parking facilities will be optimized.
Here we are on central square of the city, which is also center of pedestrian zone and one of the most walkable and interesting for tourist people area in the city. We have nice walkable areas in this part of city, but not always such good in other places. And also we would see some of these places during our video.
So now we are located in the very center of the city of Lviv, in the pedestrian area, which is a medieval part of the city. Streets here are all pedestrian. Only pedestrians have rights to move here, but also cycling are very popular here, and many summer terraces are located, as you see, in the background of this image of me. And we will walk through this area to show you some good examples of pedestrian infrastructure in the city of Lviv. But yeah, and I would like also to explain you a little bit my experience. I use 5 different modes of mobility in the city of Lviv. First of all, it's I prefer and I like walking, but also cycling. Also, I have an electric scooter to use. Then public transport and the car when I need it. What actually I don't like when in Lviv is because when you are working and the city is very large, you need to combine this with other mobility modes, and combining is not very good in Lviv. So if I would like to go to another parts of the city, for example, in it's usually 8 to 10 kilometers, so I need a reliable, let's say, public transport. I need also have a possibility to change my, for example, when I'm walking, I would like to take a bicycle. I need to find somewhere. I need to find electric scooters if I want it. And this combination of different transport is not possible when you own it. It's only possible when you use it, and so that's why very neat for the city is sharing options, sharing solutions for different mobility modes. Comfortable pedestrian area is only in the city center, and where we have these very wide streets where only for pedestrians. But it's an island of comfortability. When you are entering the city here, you can see that these narrow streets in general, the priority is given to cars, so there's a very low space and not enough space for pedestrians, which is not very comfortable.
Lviv was the first city to start developing bike infrastructure in Ukraine around 10 years ago. And since then, the city has really improved. Now it has more than 100 bike path kilometers. More and more institutions and businesses have bike parkings next to its entrance. More than 20 bike rentals are in the city provided by Nextbike. And pedestrian zone is for sure very friendly to bike riders. I personally cycle to work every day. And there are many pluses in it because I'm not dependent from traffic and public transport schedule. It's a very healthy, environmentally friendly mobility mode for sure. However, there are some obstacles as anywhere. The city is quite hilly and the weather is very changing. There is still a space for improvement in terms of interconnectivity of bike paths. There should be some more representation of bike rental points to the east and to the west of the city. And maybe you would suggest something more. Let's see.
We are in one of the busiest intersections in the central part of city, where was located first in history tram depot in Lviv. But we are here not to see beautiful buildings of old tram depot which are being renovated into Lem Station Public Center. We are here to see currently operating central control point for electricity supply of Lviv Electrotrans, which was renovated recently and now is state-of-the-art control center of all electricity network in public transport of the city. So now our colleague from Lviv Electrotrans, deputy head of energy management service, will explain a bit more about this oldest and most beautiful substation in the city.
Ми знаходимося зараз в приміщенні тягової підстанції номер 1, найбільшої, найпотужнішої з тягової підстанції міста Львова, з якої проводиться керування всіма решта 19 підстанціями. У нас є на балансі Львів Електротранс 20 тягових підстанцій, які проводять електрифікацію трамваю та тролейбуса в місті Львові. Так, ми знаходимося зараз наразі в диспетчерському пункті енергодиспетчера, з якого саме якраз з цих робочих місць проводиться керування. Зараз виведені на моніторах пневмосхеми, тобто по кожній підстанції можна вивести схему, є в нас журнал подій по кожній підстанції. І також проводиться оперативне керування окремими фідерами, окремими ділянками живлення по місті Львову, тобто по трамваю і по тролейбусу. Ми можемо вивести кожну підстанцію на будь-який монітор. Наразі відкриваємо ТП номер 1. Ми бачимо високу сторону, низьку сторону. Кожен цей елемент – це є окрема ділянка, окремий фідер по кожній ділянці, де проводиться живлення по місті. Тобто він підписаний. Це, наприклад, вулиця Шевченка, це є поштамт, центр, вулиця Коперника. І ми бачимо стан фактично навантаження на лінії передач тролейбуса та трамвая.
Tram is one of the most convenient of public transport means in central area and in places where we have tram tracks, but it's the most suffer from traffic and from those who don't want to obey traffic rules. Currently you see from the left side street is being renovated, and most of streets with tram track in Lviv are renovated in recent years. Only 4 of them are still in not good condition. Totally we have in city more than 40 kilometers of tram lines, and we have more than 100 tramways in daily operation on routes. Among them, more than 10 are like this old Czech trams refurbished by the city company. Also, approximately 50 are bought as used from Germany, and around 10 of them are new, made by our local company which produce trams, trolleybuses and buses. Welcome to square in front of main train station of Lviv. Here we currently have one of last stages of reconstruction, but you already can see that we have quite multimodal hub where we have trams, suburban buses and city buses on one side, and we have also nice pedestrian passage between train station and city center, and also we have a part devoted for taxis, cars, kiss and ride, which is now being completed. Now we are in Trolleybus. In Lviv we have around 120 kilometers of network, and currently more than 50 trolleybuses in daily operation. Most of them are quite new electron ones, which city purchased 50 units last year. But also we have older models. We have both 12-meter usual units and few 18 meters articulated units. Currently there is route which goes from the very city center, university, to city airport. And thanks to this route you can get in 20 to 30 minutes from your plane to the very center. In most of districts of Lviv we have or tram network or trolleybus network, so it means that you have possibility to connect something more to currently existing electrical networks and use it more effectively. but mostly Trolleybus network is existing in newly built suburbs, as you can see around us now, and tram network is concentrated in central area because tram was built mostly before 1950s, and after that time only Trolleybus network was expanded. As most of residents of Lviv live in such modernist buildings and districts in newly built areas, which are served by trolleybus and also tram lines and bus and other types of public transport, you can see a lot of possibilities to integrate mobility hubs into existing very busy stops and interchange stations. And now, after 20 minutes from city center, we are in airport, from where you can not only fly to many directions, but also change between three modes, which we have public transport, bus and trolleybus. We have obviously flights, and we also have the only official car rental place where you can select from many rental companies and take car if you need to go somewhere outside the city, or just you need another car than you have for some reason. More than 150,000 people come every day to the city from villages and suburbs. And big part of these people come by suburban buses to bus station. Some of them look like this one. Also, we have much better intermodal hubs at the train station or in airport, but we need some decisions to improve such places as well. Now we are in small bus which connects middle of residential district to the city center via one of main street. You can see that it's going on much narrower streets, stopping more often, but getting to the very residential areas where people live and where people need to get as well. There are more than 300 small buses in daily operation in Lviv. Most of them go or into very small neighborhoods or into districts where you need to have something which go on narrow roads.
Buses are very efficient mode of type of public transport in the city of Lviv, especially these large buses. There are now more than 200 big, large buses in the city, and most of them, like more than 90%, are new. Part of them are also produced in the city of Lviv with the electron factory. The idea for commuting by bus in the city of Lviv is to have a connection between the city center to the suburban area, where many people could go from the work, like from the busy city center, to the place where they live in the suburban areas and where many families live today. So, and just in 15 minutes we just came from the overcrowded city to a less crowded and actually very relaxed area outside the city of Lviv, the Bruchovichi village, which is like a very nice and comfortable area for living, with a lot of nature and a lot of recreation facilities here. Bus roads connect the neighbor villages near the Lviv, but still there are several challenges we need to face in the near future. First of all, the first challenge is, and actually it's a little bit problem for the residents of these villages, is that the bus roads are mainly on the main street, and the villages are very spread, let's say, and the challenge is to have a better connection, like a last mile connection, to go directly to the houses where people live. The second challenge we need to face is like to make connection with other neighbor villages, because after the end of October, after the elections in Ukraine, the Lviv City Council will be bigger area, larger area. New villages will be connected to the city, will be united with the city of Lviv. So we have to deal with that, and we have to make our public transport even more efficient and to connect those people who will be residents of Lviv City Council after the elections. Having this very efficient bus network is not good enough for local residents. Many of them still use cars, and especially those who live not just in these areas, but in a functional area of Lviv, which is larger than administrative borders of the current Lviv city and of the Lviv City Council, which is going to be after the elections and administrative reform in Ukraine. Today we have more than 150,000 people entering the city of Lviv every morning and leaving the city after the work time, after 6 o'clock. That's why we need to make those connections also very good and efficient. Because of these people who are entering city of Lviv by car, we have a large traffic jams in the city. So in that way it is a challenge to make comfortable connection for them.
Well, there are a lot of reasons. First of all, it's faster than by public transport. That's my personal first excuse for driving. It's faster. Second reason, it's way more comfortable. Because public transport is overcrowded usually. Okay, now it's quarantine, it's not overcrowded. But there is a side effect, a queue on the bus stops, and sometimes you have to wait 3 buses until you can jump into bus, and that make things very long. Also, parking outside of city center is not that problematic. You can always find some places with free stays. If my work would be in the city center, that would be a headache. I would park my car somewhere very outside of city center and walk by foot the rest of the way. I did so before when I was working just in city center. So when I go to work, I usually combine 2 types of moving: by car, and then I can go by foot. During driving, I see this chaos on the road, chaotic parking, illegal parking usually. It's even dangerous sometimes because you cannot see a lot of pedestrians which try to cross the street, and they do it in front of parked cars. They just appear right in front of you. It's a very weird way of traffic calming, always to expect some pedestrian to appear. Also, it's always hard to find a parking place, even a legal one. So every square meter is parked with illegal parking style. But even if you want to park your car legally for money, it's hard. And I was trying other ways to get to work from home. I was trying to do it by bike 3 times, I think. Very hard experience for me, tough one, because a lot of way you are driving on the road together with cars, with buses. It's dangerous, it's not comfortable at all. We have a big mall here with paid parking underground. It's not expensive, but all streets nearby are parked by cars. They are just full by illegal parking and nobody cares. So just a lot of people, really lots of people, they have money to drive by car but don't want to spend money for parking. So now we are moving on the street with bus lane, and I think it's a perfect example of space split on the street. We have a lot of routes of public transport here, and half of the street was given to public transport. I think that's great. I've tried to drive here by car, and I took a bus here, and the bus was going faster here, much faster than car traffic. I think for all the people who lives along this Chornovola Avenue, it's just great. Okay, so we have two styles of paid parkings here. We have closed parkings with checks on entrance and exits, and we have street parkings where you have to go to special device and pay there. And I think in our reality only closed parkings are working. Only there I really can't find some empty places to park, and those side street parkings are always full of cars, and I really believe most of them doesn't pay. It says there is only one available place, so we just pick this paper, and when you are moving out, you need to give this perfect paper to the lady or man, and he will say how much should you pay. So it's 25 hryvnia per hour. It's like less than €1.